Today I'm going to be taking you through the custom animations available in Flexitive. The custom animations that are currently available are pan and transform. You can also add a pan and a transform animation to one single asset, creating a multi-animation. And there's also easing options available for all of your custom animations. To start off, we have our image set to fill and crop on the canvas. So to start animating it, we're going to hit on Start Animating in the Keyframes panel. We're going to select our background asset, and then in the Animation Effects panel, we're going to change it from Hide to Show. By default, you're going to see the Presets tab automatically selected, allowing you to choose any of these preset animations, like a fade and short. In order to create a custom animation, we're going to switch from our presets to our custom tab. And now you're going to see underneath the ability to select either a pan or a transform animation. We're going to start off by selecting the pan animation. Once you hit on the pan animation, you're going to see a start and an end point. By default, your start point is going to be selected as what you currently have available. So we can either keep our start point and it would adjust our end point, or we can keep our end point and go back to our start position and adjust that. In order to change your start or your end point, you're going to simply select your focus tool and drag that up and down or left and right. Because this image only has a little bit of space up and down to move it, that's the only way we can currently pan this image. So if I wanted to pan this from left to right, what we're going to do is we're going to go to our size and position, and we're going to add some zoom to our image. Now with zoom applied, if we move the focus tool, we can see we have all this room to either pan left to right, bottom to top, or top to bottom, or even in a diagonal direction if we'd like as well. The type of pan that we're going to apply to this image is we're going to have it start. So back in our animation effects, we're going to make sure we're on the start. And we're going to have it start on this far left-hand side here, showing off the cold brew, premium roast, and whole beans all together. And then with our endpoint, we're going to have it pan across to show the whole beans in the very center of the image. To give a quick preview of that, we're going to hit on the pan animation, and we're going to see it's going to pan across pretty quickly at a 1 second duration because that is the default in Flexitive. If you wanted to change that to be a very slow animation like 5 seconds, and we hit on the pan animation, we can now see that it's going to take 5 seconds to pan across your image. There are easing options available for all of your custom animations, whether it's pan or transform. By default, for all of your animations, it's going to be set to ease, so you can see that it's going to be easing for you while it's panning across. We can either change that by adjusting the preset to change it to something like linear. What that's going to do is it's going to have it slowly pan across, all at the exact same speed, not easing in or out. We could also have it ease in and out at the same time. Or we can also go and create a custom by either dragging these cursors here to create that custom easing animation, or by typing values into our X and Y buttons at the bottom here. For this specific animation, I'm going to go to linear so that it's just panning across at the same speed the entire animation. And then what we're going to do is we're going to also add a second asset here. So we're going to go to our assets panel, and we're going to drag in a dark green circular mask. We're going to quickly have that snap to all edges. And on animation frame 1, we're going to open up our animation effects again, change it from presets to custom. And for this asset, we're going to add a transform animation. So once again, that's going to give us a start and an end point. The only difference is that with transform, you have the ability to either move, scale, rotate, or do all of those three simultaneously together. For this specific element, we're going to have it end at this exact point right here. So it's going to have a little mask showing with image behind it. So at this point, we're going to go back to our start once again, and we're going to have it start much larger. So we're going to scale it up off canvas, drag it back to the center here, and then now that's going to give us that scaling custom transform animation. So you can see that it's going to scale down from that larger size to the smaller size right there. We're also going to have a multi-animation on this background image so that while this is scaling down, we're going to make sure that the background image is going to be smaller and fit within the mask better. So in order to do that, I'm going to make sure I have my background image selected. And because we already have our pan animation applied, we can now select a second animation like our transform and have a multi-animation on this element. And so while it's panning across, we're going to also have the image scale down to fit behind the mask better. So to do that, I'm just going to scale down the image on both sides here and just move it to the correct point I want it. So we're going to have that kind of centered within the mask. And so now this is going to be panning across while it's also transforming down. So by default, it's going to be the ease option. So I'm going to change that once again to linear. And then rather than previewing just these animations that we've applied to these elements by themselves, we can go back to our animation panel and play the first frame altogether. So now we can see that while the mask is scaling down, the image is also scaling down with it and panning across to focus on the whole beans in the center by the time the duration of the animation frame is done. We can then add a second frame here. We're going to go back to our assets panel and we're going to bring in one other element and apply a transform animation to that. So what we're going to do with this bean image is we're going to have it start off canvas, and we're going to go back to our animation effects, go to our custom tab, apply a transform animation. And so rather than just moving or scaling this element, we're also going to apply a rotation to it while it's moving and scaling. So in this case, I have my start position already selected. So we're going to make sure we're choosing our end position. And first, we're going to apply the movement. So we're going to have it move down to this position here. We're also going to have it scale down to a smaller size at the end. And while that's happening, we're going to also apply a rotation just by dragging the corner here with the arrow and choose the small rotation that we want to apply. I'm going to click on transform and give a quick preview of that. So you can see that once again, it's happening at a speed of 1 second, which is totally customizable. So I can change that to something a little bit slower, like 3 seconds, and make sure that matches what I'm looking for. We could add a bit more of a rotation, re-preview that. And now that we're happy with that, we can add one more bean, and we're going to do the same thing from the top right corner. And so here, all we need to do is repeat those steps. So we're going to go to custom, add a transform animation, give the end position, the end size, and we're going to rotate the element a little bit more on this one, and then give a quick preview of all of this together. So we're going to go back to frame 1. We're going to click on play. We're going to see frame 1's happening with the multi-animation on one element, 2 different elements animating at the same time. And then the final frame is going to show the transform animation using move, scale, and rotate. Thanks for watching.